I have had 3 challenges today when arrived here. First, to find a parking place close to the building. The second was finding the elevator to come here, and the third one, this chair for me, but trying to solve this problem, just to hide my finding way or solution. I would ask our panelists to introduce themselves in some sentences.
Okay, thank you. I guess I would be the first to come. My name is Gergely Szabó. I'm partner at Bánes Szabó Rausch & Partners law firm, which is a well-known brand in Hungary. And I deal with a lot of regulatory things, focus on AI, cybersecurity as well. So that's why I'm here. And besides that, I recently graduated from IE Business School. I hold an executive MBA from there. And I also had the chance to study at institutions like Yale, EMD Lausanne, ESMT Berlin. So maybe I can give some insights from the student perspective.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you so much for the invitation. My name is Theodore Boone. I grew up in Illinois, that's tornado country, amongst the cornfields and the soybean fields in a Egyetemi Város named Urbana, Illinois. I live here in Budapest. I'm a lawyer. I work for the international law firm of Dentons. I'm also on the faculty of Corvinus University, where I teach primarily in 2 subjects: international business transactions and the legal, ethical, economic aspects of AI and other technology.
Thank you.
I'm János Major. I'm the head of IT in Granite Bank, so I'm the guy who is implementing this fraud management system where half a second should work, and I could talk about hours on that how to solve it, and it's very complicated. I am not representing any educational bodies here, so I'm just in the market. I'm waiting for the students. So in fact, I will be the receiver of your end product.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is László Dalai. I'm the Chief Information Security Officer of University of Pécs. I'm also an external expert of the European Commission for Research and Innovation Actions, especially in cybersecurity and security. And I'm here today to represent the cybersecurity approach and the challenges. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Milan Balázs, and I'm from the Óbuda University. And beside the university, I work as a software architect in the industry section. And actually, I am head of the AI introduction into the product development. So I'm in a fortunate situation, so I can see the both sides of the AI usage in the academic world, as well as in the industry world. So, but right now I represent the university side, especially the education regarding the AI topic.
Thank you. And we have a panelist online. Josh, please introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Joshua Vogelstein. I'm a professor of biomedical engineering at Johns Hopkins University, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you very much. Our main topic is AI changing the role of educators. Whether is it a question or a statement, in your opinion?
Maybe I can start.
Yes, sure.
I think definitely. So right now AI exists. We have to live with the AI, and we use the AI everywhere, in the education as well. So we have to change the roles as well. So right now with the AI, the information is available and rapidly accessible for everyone. So the classical role of the teachers was the information transmission. But right now it is not really needed because we have the AI, so the information is available. So in my opinion, the role of the teachers should be a kind of coach, a trainer. So the teacher should teach how you can use the information, the data, how can you interpret correctly the data, then the answer from the AI. So the classical information sharing is not available anymore. So if we look back some decades, some years, then we can see, first of all, we have to go to the library. We have to read many, many books. And then we have to make some searching with the Google, but right now we just have to write to ChatGPT and we have the exact data. We don't need to filter out one complete book just for 5 pages. So, of course, the roles are changing, has to be changed with the AI.
What tools do teachers have?
Yeah, and if I can just expand on that a little bit. To a certain extent, I agree the role is changing. First of all, I think absolutely at the university level and even below, there needs to be a full embrace of AI. It's silly to say, it would be like saying, well, you can't Google, you can't use the internet. So part of the role is to actually help students train to use the product. Anything else is completely naive. To a certain extent, I agree with you that the role of coach is changing, but I think to law schools in the US, the laws always change. So actually, at least the highly ranked law schools, they don't expect you to memorize the law. They expect you to learn how to think like a lawyer. And that ability to teach thinking and analysis, I think, is still very much there. And one thing I've always admired in the Hungarian education program that exists less in the US is the so-called szóbeli vizsga, the oral exams. And I think that's an area, for example, which, as I understand, a little bit, at least some places in Hungary are getting away from, because it is very time-consuming for the teachers. But if you have an oral exam and, you know, laptops closed, phones in your pockets, that's gonna really flesh out a lot, even if students have been able to use AI to prepare and learn.
In the age of AI, is it important to memorize things and be able to give back on an oral exam, or some other kind of abilities do students need?
I can reply, but I'll let other people jump in.
I think that it's really important that universities are preparing people to be either employees or corporate owners or whatever. So those guys need to synthesize what they learn, be critical, and be ready to use in practice the learnings. So back to the law school example. Back in law school, we had to know by heart all the relevant regulations, but it's completely useless. An employer requests you to use it in practice.
May I interrupt? I think I agree with the colleagues. I think it's most important thing to how to build the capability and how to facilitate the students to find the right tools for their exact problems. And today we learned in the workshops what kind of tools we can use in every certain situations, whether it's on the marketing field, or we would like to build our SME, and so on and so on. I think this is one most important, how the professors providing this kind of knowledge. And on the other hand, I think the banning to use such tools from the cybersecurity and compliance field, it's not sustainable. So this is what we understood in the university. We have to also facilitate the good use of these kind of tools and build into the governance model, into the structure, how to make sure the students that how they use these kinds of different tools, it will be compliant, it will be based on the EU AI Act, for example, and aligned with the GDPR and so on and so on.
What kind of help do teachers, educators can give or ask if they needed some?
Well, I think it's absolutely critical that the students are totally on top of the use of the AI systems and stay on top. To me, it's like they're needing to learn how to play a musical instrument like a piano, but the piano is kind of morphing and changing and developing in front of them. So I think there should be strong encouragement to use those systems. On the question though so in my classes, I tell the students, outside of class, research, it's like the real world. The real world at Granite Bank, and I'd love to hear more from my fellow panelists here. You're going to be able to use AI as long as you deal with confidentiality obligations and stuff like that. So at a place like Corvinus, we're preparing most students to enter the real world and work at places, if they're lucky enough to get a position at a place like Granite Bank, for that. So they should be, it's a complicated tool. They should be up to date on it and stay up to date on it. In terms of testing, one more thing, and I'll give the floor to other people. On testing, what I do is, I go totally old school. It's in the classroom, everything closed, paper and pencil, essay. Because essays, God forbid, you have to be able to think.
Josh, what is your experience in that field?
Well, I teach a class every year at Johns Hopkins, which is a data science class. It's a year-long project where they have to write code to solve some biomedical data science problem. There's no tests and there's no written assignments. There's a lot of writing code. And to me, it doesn't really matter if they use ChatGPT or Claude to write the code. That they're solving real-world problems and they can use any tool they want. So none of these issues really arise in my mind for my teaching. It's just they end up writing better code faster, or they have buggier code depending on which ones they use and how good they are at generating prompts.
Thank you. I spent some weeks in Orlando in February, and I've heard our Rotarian friends there that they have some challenges when people enter the bank or to different kind of offices to buy a property, perhaps, or get some loan from the bank. They cannot sign the papers because officially the state finance the school. Children don't learn how to handwrite the text. So they just use the computer or the laptop, and they don't need to learn how to write their own name. And it's a challenge because the banks and other offices are not prepared for this kind of interesting situation.
It reminds me a little bit to my own memory that I started banking 34 years ago, and on my first week I had 3 trainings, everybody at that time in the bank branch. First one was, how do you call that, handwriting, not calligraphy, but yeah. So we had to learn how to identify the signature of any person and how to compare it with the paper-based records. And in fact, there was an expert on that, and for one day we had to, let's say, identify fake signatures, because that was the core fraud management system of the whole banking at that time, that signature only. The second one was face recognition. We had a visit from the police, and the police officer told us that how to find somebody in a plastic mask and things like that. And in fact, we never used it, but that was the second one. A third one was which field to be seen on the screen. The screen was black with green letters on that, and then that's the balance of the client. And if the signature is okay, the guy is there, the balance is okay, transfer went. At the moment, we are using about 165 data points just to check whether a transfer is okay or not. We have to check one by one the serial number and the version number of the OS software on the iPhones, and the location and the guide, the payment patterns of the past, the subject of the payment, the beneficiary, the person of the beneficiary, the country, the location, the last day information, what time of the day the guy is sending the transfer, because that can be a trick. And all these things are checked, and that's done by machines. And then the guy there is just sitting, and 5% comes out as a suspicious one, and then he has to make a decision. And that's very different from graphology. Yeah, I know, that was graphology. So that reminded me of the signatures.
Yeah, so perhaps we are slowly moving from the handwriting and paper and pen to another field, like iPads and computers and something similar. But whether we need new subjects at school regarding AI, usage of AI or not? What is your idea?
I mean, it should be integrated into essentially every class. So I'm not sure at Corvinus one would need a sort of a training class. Certainly we have classes, one of which I teach. It's called Business Leadership in the Age of AI, if I may put in an ad for it, for any students listening. You're welcome to take it. We have a distinguished Corvinus master student here today who's lucky enough to get a position at Granite Bank. And we deal with the ethical issues, the legal issues, business issues, but it's that perspective and not on, quote unquote, how to learn AI. If I can come to the issue of writing. One area where I have a lot of concern, and I don't have an easy answer for it, is the concept of writing a paper, a research paper outside of class. I personally think that that is probably dead because it would be nice, but how is it going to work? How are you going to analyze it? Unfortunately, there are going to be students that are going to cut corners on that kind of thing. So that's where I think doing things like oral exams or presentations in class. And, you know, I don't like the phrase soft skills because to me it sounds a little bit condescending. But somebody right before the break said AI has hacked human DNA or something like that. I don't agree with that at all because I think so many of the skills, you know, empathy, building trust, you know, if you want to get into the big wide world, you know, love, all those things, those are still there. So I don't look at it that AI has hacked human DNA.
May I just one thing I would like to add that I agree it should be implemented in the current classes, but not in the university, but even in the elementary school as well. But I assume that today youngs are most, let's say, capable of using these kind of tools, but the thing with what we can teach for them, the ethical use of these kind of tools, because why I'm saying this is, yesterday I just saw a Insta short, where a student teach the followers how to implement such a PDF from what he received on a lecture into such an AI tool and how to prepare a podcast out of it, but this could raise IPR issues. So my opinion, the most important thing would be to provide a class, even in the elementary school, how to use the AI in an ethical way.
I totally agree with that. I just wanted to mention the same. Adding to that, I think that the young generation are the most vulnerable in terms of use of AI, and they still don't have that kind of critical thinking, which makes them even more vulnerable. And it would be really great to have such regular roadshows or events just educating that generation that, okay, you can use it, but you must use it responsibly and just to teach them how to use.
I would like to add just one additional comment. So actually we are talking about the AI. Of course, we can teach how you can ask the correct question, how can you construct the correct prompt, how can you use the output. But I think it is important to teach the other side, how you can challenge the AI. So, okay, the students really can write the correct question, correct prompt, and they got an output from the AI. But it is not correct if the AI say, okay, I'm pretty sure that I can trust it because my prompt, my question was correct. So maybe you have already heard about the hallucination of the AI. And I think we have to teach it. So the students have to have this capability to decide, okay, right now I can trust in this answer, or no, I have to challenge the AI because I have a stable base knowledge which the teacher can teach me, and I have to memorize it. And based on my basic stable knowledge, I can decide if I can trust or I have to challenge it. I think it is important.
And the basic rule should be you can't trust it and you have to challenge it. And what I was saying in terms of my classes, that I say outside of class, in your research and your preparation for your in-class presentations, use AI all you want. But I say in class, which I try to teach as a workshop, I say no AI, no even Googling. I said, this is your Google, okay? This is your Google, your brain cells. Pretend you're Tom Hanks trapped on a desert island in Castaway, and all you have is a pair of ice skates and a volleyball named Wilson, and you have to figure it out. And that's my approach in class, and my sense is they understand that and they work that way, and then we have a lot of debates on different issues.
Who can have the role of changing the method of using AI? I think we don't have enough rules or ideas about how to use it correctly at school. So perhaps we cannot. We didn't have enough tools in our hands to show children how can they use it properly. Who has the role, who has the power to push it through the educational system, that we have to teach how to use AI at school, not just at university, but the basic education as well.
So I have maybe a uncommon opinion about this, which is we didn't really, I mean, I went to school, there were computers. We didn't learn how to use Google or Wikipedia in school. It's another resource in the world, and I think the same for the modern AI. And in terms of the ethical stuff, I don't know that teaching ethics works. I mean, you can teach them what the rules of ethics are, but if they're not ethical, they're just going to break those rules anyway. So I would be more inclined to do more research on the value of teaching these things rather than advocating for teaching them, because it's not clear to me what we're going to get if we start teaching it.
May I politely disagree might be too strong a word, but raise some questions on that. Before I went to law school, I studied philosophy and focused on ethics. And I think I worked at a law firm where their motto was do the right thing, which honestly I didn't like because that doesn't answer the question. But in the legal world, there are a lot of complicated ethical issues. It's not always clear what's right or wrong. And what you can teach or encourage is an understanding of the importance of thinking these things through and doing an analysis and at least trying to do the right thing. But I totally agree with you, putting out hypothetical examples will only get you so far.
Does it mean that we still have to find the right balance between the human connection in teaching and automatization in education? Milan?
Yes, exactly. So we don't need to forget it. The AI is just a software, a tool, a code base, so not a human. So the AI is not able to recognize the real feelings, the communication with the body, then the tone of the sound. So of course it is just a robotic answer, and the answers of course are correct. But when we are checking a real human, then another real human of course can understand the atmosphere. So of course we need the balance. The AI can automatize the administrative, the boring and the basic tasks, but the teachers, the humans, are needed for the ethical reasoning, the creativity, and the other really human properties. So, of course, we have to keep this balance, and we have to handle the AI, and the human part.
If I look at the daily business, then we see that in fields where we use the AI, the best working model is the mixed teams of the same job to be done by standard level with the AI, and complications are done by humans. And then they are working together. Even they are teaching each other, because we use the very junior employees to train the AI by putting a lot of questions, and they are testing the systems. Therefore, they are learning the usual questions. In mortgages, the bank would be happy to have only standard people, standard requests with standard lives. That would be very nice. And then AI could easily handle. But in real life, what we see is that there are a lot of complications. There are people who are just divorcing during the request for the loan. There are people dying during the process and things like that that AI cannot handle. Then you have to have somebody who is talking to the client and just making a decision.
I'm guessing another example at your bank is your financial advisors that are dealing with the investment portfolios of folks. I think they want to meet the person, right? They want to feel comfortable and trust the person for any significant investment.
It very much depends on the amount.
Yeah, right. The high net worth, that's exactly what you say. The high net worth individuals, they're going to want to have the special bond.
Yes.
I have the opportunity to lead an adult educational center, and not just adults come to learn and pick up some knowledge, but teenagers as well. And that's very exciting that we offer online lessons and other opportunities, but most of the teenagers just want to come and participate on the lessons and want to connect the teacher and feel the energy of the lesson, not just through the internet, but by personally as well. So that's why important, I think, that to find the right balance that you mentioned. But what skills and knowledge should be taught in the age of AI at school, in your opinion?
I think, by my opinion, the most important is the curiosity. So if you're curious and you have to learn new things and you have to innovate somehow new solution for current or existing problems, you will find out the best tools, the best way how to implement the AI into your daily business or daily learning. So this is one thing, and I would like to add some comment to the former questions. I think it's very important to identify the fields where AI could have a good use, as colleagues mentioned, and also, for example, in the cybersecurity operation, daily operation, the automatization based on AI, it's very crucial. So, for example, from the incident handling incidents, the AI is really helps us. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
And if I can add to that, curiosity, and maybe another word in saying it is desire, is drive, is to wanting to learn. The best students of mine now, that's the same 10 years ago. Those are the people that really, really wanted it. And by the way, I would probably say the best teachers are the ones either now and 10 years ago could engage the students as well. And so I don't think that has changed. And to a certain extent, I understand. I mean, it is incredible when ChatGPT burst onto the scene and everything else. But it's not, at least in the US, in the 1970s, there was a futurist who wrote a book called Future Shock. And basically the premise of the book, which was hugely popular, was that the future was coming at us so quickly in the technology that everyone was left in a state of shattering stress and disorientation. And that was the 1970s. And somehow we got through that and made a lot of progress in a lot of ways. So I'm very hopeful it'll be the same here. And in that vein, I always think of, totally appropriate here in Hungary, the words of János von Neumann in his unfinished manuscript, The Computer and the Brain. And he said, the human mind, after all, is the best example we have of an intelligent system. And I'd like to think that's something we can all agree on and focus on.
Thank you.
Let me add 3 things to that. So besides curiosity, I would stress out to be open to hear other voices and to be a bit not just constructive, but also to think critically. And as the third thing is to develop soft skills, because AI can mimic soft skills, but the human touch is really what adds to your knowledge.
And scientists are examining nowadays how AI affect our brain as well. So there are different kind of connections in the brain when AI works instead of us, and we use AI while learning or working. Do you have any kind of example for this or support this idea?
Yeah, it's like if you use Google Maps, you totally trust the outcome. So before using Google Maps, I've never ever got lost. But after that, many times.
I just one thing came up my mind. Something similar. I never read about any kind of study, the implication of using AI, but I just read a study on the implication of using the mobile phones. I mean, the screen time. How does this affect the human brain? So certain part of the brain will damage based on the study. So I don't know what we will talk about in this same symposium in the next 2 or 3 years. Maybe these kind of studies will be available for the use of AI. I don't know. But it's raising questions. So whether we really trust in the AI or we can trust our brain, and how to balance.
We can see small children in the street while we are walking that their mothers' smartphones are in their hands, and not just watching videos or films on the smartphone, but they can use it almost properly. So they can switch between the applications and stop watching something and start a new something on the smartphone at the age of 2 or 3. So different type of student community are coming soon to the education.
Yeah, there was a study that some of the children even don't have eye contact because of that, and they envy of the iPhones.
I've encountered students when I've asked them to introduce themselves, blah, 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 name, favorite song or music, favorite book. And a number of them say, well, I really don't read, so I will tell you my favorite series. I was a bit taken aback by that, but that's the world that we live in. Personally, my kids didn't have a phone until they finished high school. That was and they didn't really mind it that much, surprisingly.
And I have read a publication regarding this. So when the children are living with the phone and the electrical devices very low ages, then actually, for example, the imagination is totally missing because they don't need to imagine the things. Just read a book, imagine, okay, it is a nice field, it is a nice mountain. No, it is not needed. Just check the screen and that's it. So it is a problem. So I think we have to limit, and we have to know when and how we have to use especially in the low ages. So yes.
So there is a growing group of children that became soon students, and they cannot read because they use the mobile phones and computers. So maybe that will be a different word soon at school and at universities as well.
I don't say they cannot read, but for example, for many areas in the industry, the imagination, and I think it is connected to the creativity. So if I don't have any imagination, then of course I don't really have a real creativity because I cannot imagine the things. And it is really true for the IT sector. So when I have to write some code, then actually I have to imagine that, okay, these are the structure, the architecture. So, and we are talking about another where really needed the real architecture or the interior designer. So it is a pure imagination and creativity.
So we need reading.
Of course.
And what works maybe not in all schools, but I think at a place like Corvinus or law schools, Corvinus has these case study competitions where there's a 15-page complicated business situation and you have two sides preparing and presenting and debating. Those are incredible skills to learn and develop, and I always encourage my students to participate in such competitions, or in law schools they're called moot court competitions.
So it can be a challenge to understand a text when they became a student at the university as well, if they don't read enough at the earlier age.
Yes, understand, dissect, analyze, take a position on, and question. I think we were talking about trusting or not trusting. I remember President Reagan, when he was negotiating with the Soviets over arms control, he was always quoting this Russian proverb. I wish I spoke Russian, I would say it. He would always quote this Russian proverb where he would say, trust but verify, which was, I thought, maybe a good way to think about AI work product.
I totally agree. So you have to have knowledge on the specific subject matter in order to decide whether I can implement the result into my study or not. So, for example, if you don't have any clue about what you are asking from the ChatGPT, you will not be able to decide whether it's a good or wrong answer. So I agree.
I apologize. I must run to the train station. Thank you all so much, and thank you.
Thank you for joining us. There is an opportunity to ask questions to our panelists. So if you would like to know more on a specific field of the topics, just please join us and continue together. What about in your country? According to AI usage at universities or secondary schools?
The problem is there's heavy ideology, particularly in Canada, there's heavy ideology influencing universities. So my niece is at university, and there's certain things you have to put in papers. Even if the paper contradicts what the ideological statement makes, if you don't put that statement in the paper, you will be downgraded. And this is very prevalent throughout Canada, unfortunately. Well, because that influences AI, doesn't it? You know, you're using AI, but you also have an ideological straitjacket on. So many countries are like that. Well, you have to remember that the majority of people living now live under authoritarian regimes. So it's very, very difficult. How does that affect AI? Because these regimes are using AI to surveillance their citizens, and, you know, so that's another enormous topic in education. Yeah. I think that's the next topic, actually.
Yeah, the next. So we use AI at the different level at school, I mean educators and students as well. Is it a challenge to be enough good in using AI? I know that young people are quite good at it, so I don't know what kind of support do teachers and educators get to be enough informed and well educated at this topic.
Good question.
Yes, I can repeat myself. So I think it's most important to provide the best training to, first of all, for the professors and the ones who are involved in in the university, and after that, and then if the professor will be capable to provide the right knowledge and the right tools, then hopefully the students will be capable to use it in a right, in an ethical way, and also you can build your own large language model in order to avoid such problems regarding any influence, for example. So if you train your own model, you can make sure that you trained it by yourself, and with the training data it's let's say clean. I mean, and then you can provide it to your students. So. From the security point of view, I would also recommend to have your own large language model on premise in order to avoid the cloud posture. And also, first of all, you have to make sure that the data are classified. And what I mean is to put the data, which is the data classification, security data classification, as allows to put into the cloud-based large language models. So yeah, this is my point of view.
What is the experience at the bank when people enter the bank? Can you identify what level are they at using the different type of tools or AI? So
we have the luck that they cannot enter the bank because we have only one little office. Otherwise, we are just on the internet. So in fact, anyone who comes to us,
they can enter online.
Digital client, so they are used to it. Where we feel the turning point or the issues around them, MI customer service activities is always the emotions. So how to handle complaints and difficult situations and angry clients and nervous clients. That's what the AI is not capable of doing that at the moment. So we can come to a point where it can identify there is a situation where there is a human needed. That in fact that's already a good solution, but in fact he will never handle it. That's my feeling. I agree with you. Therefore, we can already identify the situations which might involve a lot of emotions. Those ones are already given to the human administrators, and they can handle it much easier.
Perhaps the young generation can handle it easier than the older ones. So the older generation need more support. Yeah,
we had a lot of doubts and a lot of questions that how many clients will use the AI generative chatbots, and it's really all kinds of generations, and all the people are trying it. First, they are just playing with it, and they are testing with some tricky questions, and then they realize that it's really giving good answers, and then they go into the details. What we see is that most of the people are very polite with the machine because they know that it's why to be angry with it. So they know that it has a lot of tolerance and it can wait forever, and it always answers some very polite answer. So I agree with you when you said that it influences the user also, that they know that this is AI.
Thank you.
So back to the topic of universities, I think that professors and universities should rethink their role. So instead of just telling the students what to know and how to know, they should rather set the stage for the students and be like a co-pilot for them and help them to learn and use their capabilities better. And also one good idea might be to involve the corporate world more with live projects. For example, at iBusiness School, we could contribute to the Olympics marketing to AB InBev, like 2 months before the Olympics. And actually, the Olympics campaign contains some ideas and some solutions from my fellow peers. So some more connections with the corporate world and more projects together with the corporate world might be a good solution in the age of AI to develop and make the students ready for the next step to work in banks or in marketing or whatever.
I agree. I agree also this point of view, and I think it's good to organize, for example, hackathons or challenges and involve the students, for example, this kind of activities together with the market leaders or the vendors, and how to find a solution for the current unresolved problems, for example, on the healthcare or on the other fields. For example, my field is cybersecurity, and nowadays it's raising, and also in the health industry. And there is typical questions which are raising how to ensure the cybersecurity of connected medical devices in the hospital, because these devices, for example, blood gas analyzer, coagulometer, and so on, these have also a computer which managing these machines, but how they are connected to the local network, and whether we have some countermeasures against external threats. So this could be a potential topic for the students. How would you solve this kind of problem with the AI, for example? And we can find out any other topics where the students, even on the first years, can really involve and could be motivated, by my opinion.
So finally, we turned back to the importance of problem solving and project-based education. Yes, please.
Yeah, very engaging discussion. We discussed on the coffee break that it's how interesting that for technical topics like autonomous driving, we have a maturity model where we can, for example, check objectively, that we are on a level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. So we can objectively assess how safe those capabilities are, or how stable. We don't really have for humans that maturity model. I mean, even if we talk about education and development, we don't really. I mean, this is my topic, so I'm talking home, but we don't really have the language to talk about the maturity of human capabilities, because we are talking about in a more humanistic terms, like human rights, children's rights, all these things. When, for example, even practically, for example, one company, for example, is operating on a certain capability level, let's say on the market. So obviously, that kind of expectation should find itself into the university system. So whenever that person coming out of university, it is already capable to operate at the level of what the market expects. But I can go further. Even before university, this kind of model should reach back to the high school, and make sure that when the children are coming from the high school, they are operating on the level that is actually expected on the market or the university, depending on where he wants to go further. And of course, to be a model that it incentivizes reaching on a higher capability potential. Of course, not everyone will go higher and higher, but at least to be very stable at the level he or she is. So I think this is kind of the next frontier we have to master, to talk the same language, regardless of machine or human, but also concentrating on what it takes for a human to get to that level emotionally as well. I'm not just talking about pure technical capabilities, because obviously for that you will have the agents, and that agent will do it. But how the person will be able to cope with this kind of thing. And I'm coming back to my first question, when a 10-year-old person, or sorry, child, I have a 13 and an 18-year-old daughter and a son and daughter, and I see in my experience that whenever they first time encounter AI or this kind of capabilities, it is very important, because that will set the trajectory for later. If they encounter in the wrong way, or based on the wrong advice from, because we have incomplete and probably wrong information about how to deal with, then that will have consequences. Yeah, and the earlier the children encounter the wrong way, the more consequences we have.
So the challenge of the present is to find the best advantages, or most of the advantages of using AI in education.
And the capability.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that time is up soon, and I would like to ask you to summarize in one or two sentences what is the challenge in our age according to using AI, and how can we handle it? What is your message?
Yeah, it is inside the message. So we are at the AI conference. So of course I have generated a final thoughts, just one sentence by the AI. So future of education is not AI versus educator, but AI plus educator. So I think this is a big message. So we don't need to fight with the AI. We have to accept it, and we have to learn to live with AI together. Thank you.
Thank you.
By my opinion, technology has to be a facilitator for innovation actions regarding the AI. So we have to find the right balance in innovative things and also with the compliance.
Thank you.
Yeah, I also believe much in human and AI mixed teams. That will the number of them will accelerate, and then more and more fields the agents will help people, and I think banking will benefit from it.
Okay, I haven't prepared anything with AI, since AI cannot be on the same level of bullshitting like lawyers do. So maybe my summary would be to feel it like a flywheel, use it responsibly, have governance, and find new ways to live a better life.
Thank you for sharing your ideas with us, and now I think the next topic is coming soon. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a challenge. It's still a challenge for me.